As a web designer, I frequently have to advise my clients on the legal policies they need on their website, things like their privacy policy and their terms and conditions. I am not a lawyer, so I can't give legal advice. So the tool that I recommend to help clients figure this out and get their policies created is called Termageddon. It is a website policy generator created by lawyers who understand all the website laws and privacy laws, and it's super easy to use. You submit information about your business and your website in detailed questionnaires that have lots of help to get you through it. And then Termageddon creates those policies for you and makes it really easy to embed them on your website. Then if any laws change, Termageddon will make sure those policies are automatically updated on your website and you don't have to do a thing. You might have to answer a couple questions if they need more information from you, but they stay on top of the laws and your website is legally protected. In this video, I'm going to do a quick demo to show you how Termageddon works, and I'm also going to show you some of the ways that I customize the Termageddon policies on my website. If we haven't met yet, my name is Shannah Albert. I am a Squarespace web designer in New York City. Now let's dive in. When you sign up for Termageddon, it's going to take you through those initial setup steps, and then it's going to bring you right into the workflow to start answering your questionnaires. Now, I can't show you that exact first setup process because I already have these policies set up on my website, but I'm going to take you through what these questionnaires would look like. So if I hop into my first questionnaire here, this is where you start answering questions about your website and your business. So right off the bat, it's just asking you if you're creating policies for a website or an application. This is an easy one, and I put my website URL right here. Notice over here that there's something called the Termaguider. For every single question on your survey, you have a little bit of help here to help you figure out the answer, and then even a video that will explain what is written here if you'd like to listen to it or get a little bit more detail. And if you still need help, you can contact support and they will get on the phone with you and help you set up your policies. So you have a lot of support as you're working through these questionnaires. Now, this is a really easy question, so we don't really need help. I'm going to turn off this Termaguider here, and I'm going to keep going through my questionnaires to give you a feel for what they look like. Now, I'm going to hit the hide button here because this Termaguider is in my way. It will reappear as I move through the pages on my questionnaire. Now, this next section is helping me figure out which policies I need. So it's explaining why you would need each policy, and then you would read this description and say, yes, my website does collect this personal information because I have a contact form on my website and an email newsletter sign up, and I'm collecting analytics. So yes, I need a privacy policy and I have this turned on. Next, we have our terms of service, and I personally sell things on my website, so I need to turn this on, but you would read through this and decide if you need this. Next one is a EULA, which is a policy you need if you are selling packaged software that you developed, like an app. And I am not, so I have that turned off. And then there's some questions down here to help me decide if I need a disclaimer on my website. So I am providing advice that could be seen as legal advice because I am talking about website policies on my blog. I have affiliate links, I have testimonials, and then there's other things you could look through here to decide if you need a disclaimer. So now I have a good idea which policies I need, and I'm going to keep going. Now it's asking me some questions about my business. Do I have nonprofit status? If I had disputes, where would I like to resolve them? These are standard things that need to be included in a privacy policy. What country am I in? What's my address? What's my phone number? I don't want to include those things on my website, so I just leave them blank. Now I'm going to go on to the next page. Here it's asking me questions about where I do business, where I might collect personal information. So I have all the states included here because I could collect information from anyone. Anyone can visit my website. Then there's all sorts of detailed questions about laws that are in particular state. Here, for example, this law about Virginia is turned off, and I can click why. And it has determined, based on some of the things that I answered, that I don't have to worry about this one, probably because my business is very small. So I can close that. Here, it's asking me questions about all sorts of different privacy laws that I might have to comply with. On the next page, it's asking me about which functionalities I'm using on my website. So you would go through here and say, okay, do I have advertising? Do I have analytics? What tools am I using for analytics on my website? Do I have a calendar embed? So here you would just go through and understand all the different things that are included on your website. And if you're not sure, your web designer can help you answer these questions. Also, We've got our Termageddon here that will help us answer some of these questions. What is a video embed? It will explain what that is. Let's turn this back off. I'm going to keep going here. Now, here it's going to pre-fill the next section based on what I selected here. So I'm going to click yes, because that will help me greatly. Now it has pre-filled this section for me, and this is about the specific type of data I'm collecting. Based on what I said that I had included on my website, it's deciding what type of data I'm collecting. And then I can scroll through this and turn things on or off. For example, I have forms on my website and I'm selling things, but I'm not collecting anyone's phone number. So I can turn that off, and it's warning me. It's saying that I might really need this, and I'm going to say, yes, I'm not collecting anyone's phone number. So you would scroll through here, look at its suggestions. It's your responsibility to go through here and answer them correctly, but Termageddon really helps you because it knows what typical things are collected based on the different things on your website. Now let's keep going. And this next section here is asking you why you're collecting all this information. And Termageddon has filled in, I'm going to hide this Termageddon here. Termageddon has filled in the typical reasons why you collect this information. So you could use these defaults. You really should just look through it and make sure it makes sense to you, but they've given you a huge head start here. So you would go through each of these and just review them, make sure they look good, and then you would keep going. This is the hardest, most detailed part of the questionnaires. But imagine if you had to fill this out on your own without any help from Termageddon. This next section here is asking you about website cookies. Termageddon includes a tool that you can use to have a very robust cookie banner on your website. I am not currently using this tool because honestly, I don't really like the way it looks. I think the Squarespace cookie banner is much more attractive. So I'm not using this. I probably should. There might be a video I create in the future where I talk more about this. But for now, I'm not using this. So I am skipping over this part, and I'm not activating this cookie policy and consent tool. Then it's asking me questions about children. How long am I going to store the information I've provided? Am I using direct marketing? So you get an idea of what these questions are that you need to fill out, and you'd step through this and fill out all of these questions about your website. I'm going to keep going here. Now we've hopped over to my terms of service. So it's asking me questions about, can people purchase things on my website? What kinds of things are they purchasing? What is the price of these things on my website? Do I include taxes? All sorts of questions about what I am selling so it can generate the proper terms of service on my website. Again, I'm not going to step through all the questions. I just want to give you an idea. This is for my disclaimer. I have to list all of the affiliate programs that I'm participating in because somewhere along the way, I said that I have an affiliate program on my website. So I'm listing all the programs I participate in. And when I join a new one, I can add a new program here. And then it asks me some different questions about that. And then I answer those and I keep going. And now all of my website policies have been created. These options up here will help you share this information with your web designer if you want your web designer to embed these policies for you. Or down here, you can grab this embed code and implement it yourself. So I'm going to show you how you could embed these policies on your website on your own. So the first thing you want to do is click copy code. That is going to copy this embed code for this first policy, my privacy policy, into my clipboard. Then I'm going to hop over to my website. I'm going to go to my pages area and I'm going to create a new page in my not linked section. Let's pretend I don't have a privacy policy page. I'm going to create a blank page. And here I am on my new page. I'm going to click edit. I'm going to add a section. I'm going to add a blank section. I'm going to add a block. I'm going to add an embed block. Edit that block, go to code snippet, embed data, and paste that embed code right here. Now, this is going to include the text of my privacy policy. So I want to spread it out, but you don't want to make it too wide because if text is too wide on the screen, it's hard to read. So I like to leave about 3 blocks on each side of the block, and that's a good width. Now I've got that embedded. If I click save, exit, and preview my page, it is going to generate and pull my privacy policy in. It's like magic. So this is the privacy policy that it generated for me. And there are a couple ways that you can style this privacy policy right through Termageddon. So let me hop back over here to Termageddon. Here you have styling options. So these are the options that I've chosen. I hide my policy title, but I'm going to turn this off to show you what it would look like if I didn't. I use accordions instead of tables. Again, I'll show you what that will look like if you use tables. I use H2 tags instead of H3 tags, you could check this off to make your headings a little bit smaller. And I left align my headings instead of centering them, and I turn off hyperlinking emails. And I don't use these last two, so I'll be honest, I don't know what they do. Now let's hop over, and all I have to do is refresh the screen and it will show you what those changes look like. So now I've turned the title on my privacy policy. I usually like to add a custom header up here that matches the rest of my website. So I turn this title off, but you could just leave your page like this, super plain, and have this privacy policy heading here. And then down here, you can see what these tables look like if you use these instead of accordion blocks. Yuck, we don't like that. So let's hop back over and let's turn my policy title off and use accordions instead of tables. And now we'll go back to the way I like to see it. And we have no heading here. So here I would just add a section. Let's say I want to add this one, and I could make this say privacy policy. I could take this text out. I could edit my section to remove the image and make it this bright green. So now I've got a heading for my privacy policy page. And then down here, I've got my accordion blocks back. Now I have added a little bit of customization with CSS on my website to do a couple things. I've made these accordion titles a little bit smaller. They're just by default are a little bit big, and I want them to be smaller than they were. I have a little bit of code to add these little green triangles in here. Totally not necessary. I just think they're pretty. And then the last thing I do is I have some code that puts underline under the hyperlinks. By default, your hyperlinks are not underlined. My text is a little bit light, and the rest of the hyperlinks on my website do have underlines. That's standard for Squarespace. So I just want them to be consistent. So I have some code that adds that as well. You would add this code here in the CSS area of your website under custom code, custom CSS. I have it right here at the top, but you can find this in the blog post that I've linked underneath this video, and you can grab this CSS from there. Now, there's one more thing I want to show you. There are a couple of ways that I've actually customized the policies that Termageddon created for me. Here in my cookies section, I have added a couple of sentences just to provide a little bit more detail about the cookies that I'm collecting. So I wanted to add a sentence that say, here are the cookies that Squarespace uses in case someone wants to check them out. Here, I wanted to let people know that they can change their cookie preferences using this little button in the footer. Because I'm using the Squarespace cookie banner, this information is not included in this Termageddon privacy policy. So I just wanted to add a little bit of text there. Another thing that I wanted to do custom is add a custom clause to my terms and conditions policy. Because I sell digital products on my website, I wanted to include a digital product terms of use, but this is not automatically included in the general terms and conditions that Termageddon created. So I just wanted to add a clause here so that from this terms and conditions page, people could get to this new page that I created personally. So I had to go out and buy this contract template. This is not included with Termageddon, but what I was able to do was add a custom clause to link out to it from my terms and conditions policy. So let me show you how I did those two things. Back over here on Termageddon, I'm going to go back to my policy dashboard. And here at the bottom of the dashboard, I can review and override my policy text. So in my privacy policy, I wanted to tweak that cookies clause. So I would find the cookies clause here. And here I've got a little note that's telling me I have updated this clause and therefore it will not automatically update. So if laws were to change and there was other terminology that was needed here, it is not going to be able to automatically update it. I decided that was pretty safe. So all I did was update the default and put my sentence here and my sentence here, and that now displays in my privacy policy. And then for my terms of service, to add that custom clause, here's the custom clause here, all you have to do is hit the plus sign, and that enters a new section above the one where you hit the plus sign. And all I did was put this text in here. So I had copy pasted it. I made this a little bit bigger. And then I hyperlinked this to the page on my website. And that is how you add a new clause to your website. And then to take it out, you just hit delete. So that's a quick demo of how Termageddon works and how to install those policies on your Squarespace website. Below this video, you will find a link to get 10% off your first year of Termageddon and the blog post that includes the CSS I use to customize my Termageddon policies. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Squarespace website and small business tips. Good luck on your website adventures.